Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Chad here with BetHubb.com. Absolutely worked up tonight over the controversial play with the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Atlanta Braves in the play-in wildcard game. I'm sure you guys have seen the play by now 100 times. If you haven't, don't worry. It will also be on our website along with this video rant here tonight. Just a quick little recap of the scenario that was at hand. The score is 6-3 for St. Louis. It was the bottom of the 8th inning. Men on first and second. Andrelton Simmons at the plate. He hits a ball that appears to be a pop-up to the outfield. Yes, that is correct, the outfield. However, the umpire decides to call it an infield fly, which means an automatic out. We know what happens with the St. Louis shortstop, Cosma. He's backpedaling into left field, doesn't get there. Matt Holliday does not come in on the ball as well, therefore it drops in. And to everybody that's seen the play, it should have at the very least been called a bloop single, or if you want to credit an error to the shortstop or the left field, whatever the case may be, it should have not been an infield fly. It's an absolute joke. The ball was 30 feet outside of what would be considered, in most people's eyes, the infield. And what drives me nuts about all this is the fact that they brought in 2 extra umpires for the importance of this playoff game, and they still can't get it right. 24 eyeballs on this play, and it's wrong from the get-go. And the biggest question I have in terms of the ruling of this here is why on earth is the left field umpire making a decision on a play that's considered an infield fly? What's the point on having infield umpires if they can't even make the calls in their own region of the field? That's what drives me most crazy about all that. So we'll put that aside for a second and get into the meat of things here as to why Major League Baseball thinks that this was an okay decision based on their own stupid rules. And when I mean stupid, I mean stupid. All the rules in their own sport do here is create mass confusion and allows there to be more judgment and freedom for the umpires when that should be taken away because it's quite clear that they make big-time mistakes in big spots. So here's the situation that we have at hand here with the ruling that I found online. An infield fly is a fair ball, not including a line drive nor an attempted bunt, which can be caught by an infielder with ordinary effort when there's guys on first, second, and third, and they'll have to obviously be occupied before they're 2 out in the inning. So I believe that there are so many fallacies and complete lack of logic with this rule here. First of all, it cannot include an attempted bunt or a line drive. Okay, we all know what an attempted bunt is, but you never know. There could be a play that's perceived as a line drive or a fly ball. Why even let there be the opportunity for an umpire to have to make a decision between the two? And then to say with ordinary effort? What is considered ordinary effort? I mean, we have seen shortstops absolutely dog it in the past and not run as hard as they can, and then sometimes we see them gun it so far that they actually go into a spot where the left fielder could have caught the ball anyways, 40 feet outside of the infield. That's why it's absolutely absurd. Why not just make it as simple as this? Either the ball is in the infield or it is in the outfield. When you see a shortstop running back as far as they do into the outfield, I don't give a shit if they're considered an infielder based on the rule here that says the pitcher, catcher, and any outfielder who stations himself in the infield on the play shall be considered infielders. Well, who cares? If someone runs out of their area into the outfield, then they should be considered an outfielder at that time. Just eliminate all the BS with these intricacies of the rules, trying to be detailed and cute and fancy. It's as simple as this. If the ball is more than 5 feet, let's say, put a number on it, 6 feet from where the sandy area is in the infield, it's an automatic outfield fly, and that is as simple as that. I just do not understand why they have to get complicated with things and allow these umpires to have to make a decision which they're clearly not capable of doing. And then furthermore, the rule here that makes less sense involved with this is when it seems apparent that a batted ball will be an infield fly, the umpire shall immediately declare infield fly for the benefit of the runners. Well, I take that back. That rule makes sense, but if that's the case, then it needs to be communicated better. Why is it that the runner on second base for Atlanta was running to third after the ball dropped in between the shortstop and the left fielder? Because it obviously wasn't communicated to him that it was called an infield fly. Otherwise, why would he run in the first place? If they have the nerve to make a call like this, at least yell it so everybody on the field hears it. That is absolutely disgusting, and you can tell that there's an absolute miscommunication on the field. So that's where I have the biggest issue with the actual rule itself. Now, in terms of Major League Baseball, they definitely need to revise this. Sometimes it requires something horrible like this in order for that to be the case. I'm hoping that will be moving forward. But another issue I have here with Major League Baseball is the fact that they've made attempts to try to clean the game up from an umpiring perspective. Now, I know that I absolutely rip the umpires here, and the bottom line is they usually do a good job. Most of the time they get the calls correct, and every time they don't, we all seem to overreact and lose it. And that's just the nature of the way it's going to be when your job is to make the right calls, and every time you make a bad call in a big spot, gets completely overblown. But there's opportunities to make things better here moving forward. First of all, I don't understand why they can never come out and admit after the fact, especially the umpires today. You see someone like Jim Joyce, he came out right away after the perfect game he screwed up for Galarraga. At least the guy had the balls to admit it after. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes. It's how you deal with it after that proves if someone has integrity as a human being. Clearly the umpires did not tonight. And for Major League Baseball, Joe Torre to sit on the stand tonight and take questions and beat around the bush when asked did they get the call right or wrong and not give a proper answer and say, well, that's the judgment of the umpires. No. Provide an answer. You get paid a lot of money, and that's what the fans and the media want to hear. It's absolutely absurd the way they refuse to own up to it. And the fact that they have now installed instant replay for home runs, that's an embarrassment. I've said it from day one. Who's to say that a home run is more important than other plays in the game? It's quite clear that there's many elements of a baseball game that could impact the outcome of it, not just whether or not a ball is fair or foul for a home run. Now I understand that you can't have all these plays reviewed. It would take forever. So a simple solution, copy football. Allow these managers on each team to have a certain amount of challenges when there's controversial plays, and then they're automatically forced to review it, and they can overturn the call on the field and get things correct. And if they end up getting their challenges wrong, Major League Baseball come up with a way to reprimand them, whether it's fines, add another out another inning, I don't know, take away a loss at the end of the year when they get a certain amount of challenges wrong. Just put a system in place so that these opportunities can exist to have things overdone when a play may be deemed incorrect on the field and they can't overturn it. It's just absolutely absurd. I don't know how an umpire could possibly think that ball was in the infield when the guy was clearly drifting back and it never even started in the infield in the first place. That's my 2 cents on everything here tonight. Chad with another rant at BetHubb.com. Don't forget, guys, even though there's some bad calls going on, that doesn't mean you can't be involved here from a betting perspective at BetHubb.com. Sign up today. Check out the link below this video. Deposit some money in the account. Go ahead, bet your friends, bet whoever. Throw your own numbers on there and have a good time watching these games. Because you know what? For everyone that's on the losing end of a bad umpire's call, there's someone that's going to be making money betting as well. In the long run, you hope that these things all even out from a betting perspective and from the teams with their respective seasons.